All right, another episode of Conversation After Dark. Tay, what's up with you?
Everything is great with me. What's going on with you?
It's all good. It's all good. Tell people how they can find us.
You can find us at Conversates After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at CVAD the podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversationafterdark.com. Check out our past episodes. Make sure you let everybody know about the show. All right, Tay, let's kick it off with the icebreaker.
All right. We haven't done extreme personal questions in a while. Some
Okay.
of it. I don't know. Sometimes these questions are lamer than than most. Okay. What do you recall as being your first exposure to adult material growing up?
Oh man. All right, so I got two stories. So my best friend in elementary school, his dad had like nude magazines like next to the toilet in the bathroom. So
Hmm.
it was like a wicker basket, and like it was a bunch of like Jet magazines and Ebony and all that stuff, right? But intermingled in between that was like nude magazines. And like it was like crazy for the time. I mean, because it was like it was all white, wasn't any black people. And then I remember the thing that stood out was like there was this one particular picture where this lady was squirting breast milk.
Oh
I'll
God.
never forget that. Yeah, it was crazy. Then the other one was I had a neighborhood friend who's this will give it away, but nobody's gonna remember. Neighborhood friend whose dad worked for the post office. So like the dude would have like these all these old VHS tapes
Hmm.
that like safety in the post office or how to avoid dog bites. But like in these cases was like porno flicks.
Oh gosh.
And so like all the guys would come over and we'd watch it, during the day, during the summertime when the parents were at work. But then he got caught because his dad remembered where he left off on the tape. So he knew that his son was watching it. So in order
Mm,
for us to like watch it again, like dude would like he'd write down the tracking number. So he
yeah.
remember the old VHS, the tracking number. So he was like, hold on. And he would have to rewind it right to the exact spot so that he wouldn't get in trouble. So yeah, that was my first.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So mine is similar to yours. I don't know if any of my cousins watch this, but my uncle used to keep them. And actually I didn't even know. And his were out in the living room again in the where the magazine rack was right under the TV. Um and how I didn't find them. So I have an uncle who's 3 years older than me. So it would be him, my other cousin, and me. We'd all be spending the night at my grandfather's house all the time. And I remember they told me about it. And so I would always try to, when everybody went to sleep, I would find my way and look at them. And they were like Playboys, Penthouse, Hustler. I mean, he had all of them. I remember seeing Latoya's spread, like all of the famous ones. I remember him having.
Latoya who? Jackson?
Yeah, you don't remember she had a Playboy? Well, you might not. You were young, but I mean, 'cause we the same age, but yeah.
That you say it, I beg the one person that I remember was Vanessa Williams.
Okay.
Remember, because she had won like Miss America or Miss USA or something like that.
America. I
Yeah,
remember the scandal, but I never actually saw hers.
yeah, yeah. I remember those. I remember that. I don't. I remember you saying Latoya, but then we were a little bit older when Latoya was in Playboy, wasn't we?
I don't remember how old I was when
I think we
she
had been like 9 or 10 or something like that when that came out.
I saw it. My uncle had it. Like I said, he had all of the famous people back then who did it. He had all of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I started watching porn early, and like I think it wasn't until Kurt Franklin came out on Oprah talking about he had a porn addiction that I kind of looked at it and said, well, maybe it could be an issue. I never thought it was an issue like looking at porn. It was just something because it never like ruled my life or like I can't leave the house because I gotta watch porn or whatever. And I don't think porn is necessarily a bad thing for people in relationships or period. I mean, it's the safest form of sex in my personal opinion. So I know, but there's still a lot of a judgment for people when it comes to pornography. And once you become a parent, you kind of look at things differently because you can see how it might trigger some emotions and behaviors in your children if they expose to stuff, too early. But some of that I think is just like natural exploring by children trying to, learn about sex and the human anatomy.
Right. I can see that. And I think sometimes it gives guys false, a false sense of what women want in the bedroom when they watch porn, a lot of
Like
porn.
y'all don't like, your legs bent back, your ankles by your ears, and a big 12-inch dick pounding the shit out of you. Y'all don't like that?
Some may. The ankles by the ear, if she's flexible enough, she may. But yeah, everything you see in the porn is not. Matter of fact, porn stars have said that they don't like doing the stuff that they like. It's just that's what the director is telling them to do to get into something that people want to watch.
So, like, do you have like, is there like a particular position that they show in porn that you're like, that's for guys, not for women?
Um, that well, I know one that I've tried, and it's just when she's standing up and her leg is on the guy's shoulder. That's something for TV. I mean, well, for
Yeah,
porn. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, I'm trying to think. I think there's one that is like big in porn, but I think in real life it ain't really like the shit. Like,
Mhm.
I, tr- I try because you don't curse, and I do. I try not to curse, but but
Okay.
anybody knows me now, I cuss like a motherfucker. Titty fucking. Like, I think
Mhm.
that's mainly like a porn thing.
Ye
Real life, I don't know. You ran across a guy that loves to do that.
Loves it, no. Likes it, yes. And, I accommodate, but this doesn't do anything for me. I don't have any nerve endings in there, so
None on your sternum.
right.
Let's see what they got to say in the chat. TJ said, my bestie's mom bought the Vanessa Penthouse edition. I looked at the pics with her and her mom. It was no biggie. Yeah, looking back on it, like, porno magazines back then were like super duper tame as opposed to what you see like now. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I can see
There
why it
was
would.
still levels though, because I remember seeing the Playboy magazines first and then seeing like Penthouse and Hustler and being disgusted. I thought the Playboy pictures were beautiful. Even as a young kid, I thought they were beautiful and I thought Penthouse and Hustler disgusted me.
Penthouse and Hustler. And what what the one they have for black men?
At that back then, no. My uncle only had those three.
Players. It's called Play.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Players. TJ said, I want my knees and my ears. Said no woman ever. Okay, all right. Danielle said mine ain't big enough for all of that. So I guess she's talking about titty fucking. And TJ said, consider yourself lucky when it comes to that. I don't know. I think, both people have to be able to, you got to have the right mix because, I've tried to, titty fuck. It's not really my thing, but like, you got to have enough dick for it. And she's got to have the right amount of boobs for it,
Yeah.
because like she could not have enough to bring it together, or they might be too big.
Okay.
It happens. So yeah. Vita said I bought a copy of the Vanessa Williams magazine and sold views. She's a hustler. She run it. Vita, you run a game as a young woman. Speaking of which, Tay, who do you
Hmm.
think runs more game? Men or women?
Who tries to run more or who actually does run more? Because
To
those
me,
are two different
to
things.
me, the answer is obvious.
Obvious, really?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's so obvious for me. If it's so obvious for you, what's your answer?
Women. Women run more game and attempt to run more game than men. And y'all are better at running game than men
That I will agree with. And I think
because
that's
we
why
think of our penis.
right, and yeah, and we think in more detail than y'all, but more detail oriented most of the time. So we usually think of the little details that most of the time y'all won't care about.
So for me, I think that women have the power when it comes to sex, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of times, um, a guy can, because he wants to, like, hey, I want her to like me, I think there's levels to it, right? There's
Right.
times where you might generally like a woman, right? And you like really in love. I remember as a young man, there's a couple women that like really like hurt my heart. You know what I mean? Because I was like, damn, I like her. I want her to be my gal. I want her, I want to be with her. And she was just running game for whatever. Maybe it's because I had a car and I could drive her around, or whatever. I had a chick that was got with me because it got her closer to my homeboy. So I had different situations where women are running game. And as you
Hmm.
get older, I think the sex comes into play. When you're younger and it's like puppy love, it's more so just like, I'm just playing with him because I can. As it gets older, it's like I'm using what I got to get what I want. And I don't
That
I don't think guys really have that ability to do that.
I don't know. Because I was just thinking, um, do your resources, no matter what they are, make you better at running game? Like maybe for a man, maybe his money, maybe for a woman, maybe it's her sexuality, those who have pretty privilege. You know, I don't know. The
I,
different resources you have.
I think game is number, like you said, pretty privileged, right? Some of it's like looks, and then a lot of it is some women just got that mouthpiece. They know how to they know how to use their voice. They know how to like gently touch without being overtly sexual and kind of making a guy think like, oh damn, she feeling me or whatever. So he's going to do certain things for her. I just think that women got it sold up. I had a situation this past weekend. I went to this event and we had some rain here in the Dallas area. And I have a big truck and I had to park in the grass and I'm getting stuck in the mud tank.
Mm,
And a whole bunch of people got stuck in the mud because it was a packed event. So it was a mess. And these young girls, they were acting kind of ugly because I was like, yo, let me get my truck out. Then I help push y'all out the mud, right? So then this girl said, but we're just two little dainty little girls, who's gonna she tried to pull the damsel in distress. And I'm thinking like that shit don't work for me. You know what I'm saying? That don't work at all. But I think you see that often with women.
right.
I don't think guys can get away with that. Now, there's some guys who are able to digmatize a woman, and I think that's when the game starts running with men. But how often does that really happen?
Um, yeah, I can see where you're going with that, and I could see how that would make you say that women run more game. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Janine says, I think women run game for more than sex. Absolutely. I think
Yeah,
women run game for resources, primarily. But sex is the primary carrot that's dangled to get guys to do what they want.
of course.
It just is. So um, and I think as you get older and you start to think less with your penis, you're able to see game more clearly as you get older. Some guys have always been like, stomp down pimps. Like they see through it like, nah, I ain't giving a chick nothing. But when Mr. Lovey Dovey like me, it's like, oh, you mean she rubbed my shoulder and walked with me to my classroom. She must really like me. I was that type of stupid dude. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a long time to figure out, like, nah, bruh, nah, she just running game. I had a chick Tay at first, when she first met me, she was like, "Nah, I'm not really interested in you." Okay, that's fine, right? I'm not, everybody's not for everybody. But then when she found out like what I brought to the table in terms of like education and career and everything, her whole attitude switched.
Mhm.
And at that point, I was like, nah, I'm not really interested because, back then you ain't want me, but now, you know what I'm saying? Now that you know, you all on me, right?
Right.
And she was so bold, Tay. She said, because she had 3 kids by 3 daddies. And she was so bold at one point. She said, Marv, when are you going to help me raise my children?
Oh, wow.
And it's that type of like game that women try to run that really like
Mhm.
can jade a dude to.
But is that really game? Like, if it I can see her I can see that she tried to run game, but she wasn't successful, and to be that bold, I don't see how she could be successful.
No, she definitely tried because here's the thing: just because she found out that I brought whatever to the table, it still didn't really change how she felt about
Right.
me. Like it didn't change her level of attraction towards me. Like we it was somewhat long distance. Like, we were like 2 or 3 hours away from each other. So like she would like talk sexy on the phone, might even do like a little phone sex, but then when I would get there, it was like, oh, don't touch me.
No.
So it was straight game.
Yeah. Okay.
It was
Okay.
straight, it was straight game. So have you ever had somebody in a relationship try to run game on you?
Of course. I mean, I think anytime people cheat in a relationship, I think that's game because they have to lie and deceive usually to do that. I mean, you know,
Eh, just because I cheated on you don't mean I don't love you.
I didn't say that.
Just because I cheat on you don't mean I don't respect
I didn't say that either. I said he's trying to run game. I didn't say anything about love or respect.
you. Then
I,
how's it
I'm
run a game? How's it run a game if you don't know?
because usually when people are running game, there's some level of lying and deception within that
True.
because you're not telling the truth. So to me, cheating on somebody, talking your way through, even cheating, your person finding out and you being able to, it wasn't me, and she believe you or he believe you. That's game.
That part is game.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, game is more trying to influence somebody to do something that you want them to do, whether it
I
be,
agree.
like, okay, do this for me, do this with me, or forgive me for something that I did.
Mm-hmm. I
That's
can see that.
that's the part I feel is like playing game, trying to like, you think I'm stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's the piece. And that's when you get into like the gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I did this when I was younger. Like, oh, the reason why I cheated was because of you. Because you
Right.
don't do this and you don't do this and you don't do that. I admit it's not cool, but I did it before.
Okay.
So I think that's the running game piece when you get into the gaslighting situation. And as we get older, that gaslighting, I've said it so many times before because it happened to me and it was so painful and hurtful. It's like triggering as fuck to me. So now I don't have no tolerance for it because it happened to me. But
Right.
um, yeah, that's the game that really hurts you and makes you like jaded towards the person that really fucked you over.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. I don't know. To me, I still think cheating and trying to get away with it is still a level of game trying to be played in that situation.
I see that.
Yeah.
Um, but
But not also cheating. You have those I hear this joke all the time, women who want to spend all the money but don't necessarily let their husbands know that they spent the money, so they might buy stuff and hide it, or stuff like that. That could be a level of running game too when you're in a relationship.
yeah, I think anything when you're being dishonest and you are, trying to, like I said, get somebody to do something that they normally wouldn't do by
Hmm.
influencing them and not making them make a full decision for themselves, that's running game. And sometimes it takes a long time to get over that hurt and that distrust. I know for me, it took me a long time. Like the chick that hurt me the most up until recently, um, I was a mess. I mean, for a while, I was a pure fuckboy in these streets because, she had hurt my feelings. She had embarrassed me. And, I was like, I'm not going to allow a woman to do this to me again. So, when they say hurt people,
Right.
that was me. And thankfully, the people that I did that to, I was able to come back later and tell them I was wrong and apologize. And they accepted that apology. But it almost messed up my future relationships because I was holding on to that hurt and I was always like, oh, you're not gonna do this to me, or I was talking about what happened and what I wasn't gonna allow and things of that nature. So I don't know. What do you think is the best way to get over like past hurt to make sure it doesn't like mess up your new relationship?
One thing that I think plays a big part in carrying over stuff from previous relationships is trying to get over someone quick, fast, in a hurry. I think people tend to move on too quickly. Like people hang on to that phrase, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody.
Mm,
No, you just kind of carrying all of that on to the next person.
that's true.
Um so I think people need to give themselves a break, heal. Maybe you might need to go to a therapist or talk with a friend about some issues. Maybe there were things that you need to learn from those situations. Maybe your boundaries weren't clear and this person was able to hurt you in a certain way. You just need to reevaluate, and I don't think people give themselves enough time to do that.
JG said I blame me for allowing it and move on. I don't know if I agree with that, bro. Because I think that takes the accountability and the responsibility off of the person that did that to you. I think that we as people deserve to live authentically and love authentically and fully and openly. And just because somebody takes advantage of that and hurts you, I don't think that you need to take that blame. That's just me. I don't feel like you should absolve them for what they did to you that was messed up. Now, you got to be realistic with yourself and say, okay, what did I do to contribute to this situation? But just solely blaming yourself, I think to me that would be a recipe to go crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily solely blaming yourself. You have to try to put blame where it needs to be on the other person. You have to hold them accountable. But a lot of people don't look at themselves fully. They don't evaluate themselves fully. And a lot of times our friends don't help because I know as a woman, I've seen this and it's happened to me where a situation could happen or a breakup could happen, and your friends might be like, girl, he deserve you. You better than this. You blah, blah, blah. When a true friend might say, but maybe you need to work on this a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Do you think women do that? I mean, I know this is a tired discussion, and a lot of y'all don't want to hear this. But do women really hold themselves accountable in that way?
I think some do. I think when you get older and you mature, I think women do have a get to a point where they know, okay, everything ain't always the other person. Some of this is me.
I think that's the discussion that we always have in terms of like accountability. And it's my opinion that I think guys are able to hold their homeboys more accountable because we're speaking from a male perspective, and you tell me if you all receive the same. Um, Men are used to tough love from other men. Like, bro, you messed that up, and you get a lot of that comes from sports. I can't say the military because I never was in the military, but I've assumed that would be another place where we received it, where you receive harsh criticism and you learn early on that, hey, this isn't personal. This is something that I did and I need to adjust. So we can say, hey, well, shit, what do you think she was going to do? You've been cheating on her all these years. You think she wasn't going to leave you? Um, you know, Me and my guys, we don't allow anybody around us who's not taking care of their kids.
Mhm.
Why? I mean, there's a situation where there's a dude, he ain't doing right, and we flat out told him, you can't be around us because we don't tolerate that type of lack of responsibility. So I think that's the reason for the frustration for most men because we are used to being held accountable. Some men are coddled. Normally, when they're coddled, is by the women in their life. Sometimes it happens from men, but for the most part, the men in your life are going to be like, "Hey, you full of shit, and you need to fix it." And the women that I have encountered, for them, it's usually that older woman, like that grandma, that older auntie, that can say, "Hey, don't talk to your man that way.
Hmm.
You need to treat him this way. You need to treat him that way." And from my perspective, I think we're missing that in our community, and that's where that lack of accountability is coming from.
I can see where you're coming from. I think what happens with a lot of women, and I don't think it's done on purpose to have women not hold themselves accountable. I think because women tend to be a little bit more sensitive at times than men. So I think we come to a point where we're trying to big our sisters up or our friends and trying to make sure that their self-esteem doesn't take a dive because of a bad relationship. So those those talks of it, um you deserve better. I don't think they're meant to not make the woman take accountability. I think they're meant to help build her up after, if she may be in a time where she's broken up with and her self-esteem might be in the dumps. You see what I'm saying?
I do, but there's some of that come back to that example I gave before, where the young lady was like, "Oh, we're just two little girls and we need help." Like, does that come back to like the treatment that we give women? Because how often do you see the jokes? We see the memes on social media. It was like, "Do you want an apology or do you want some pussy?"
um,
And honestly, for men at our age, I'm gonna let
yeah,
you know, I want an apology, and I want it quick, fast, in a hurry. Because honestly, I could go jack off, sleep on the couch, be real. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather apologize, we move on, and it not be a fine, I'm sorry, that bullshit type of apology. I want
mhm,
to be like, damn, I see where you're coming from. I see I made a mistake, and let's move on. Because honestly, that's how men are. Like, we're taught to respect, like, damn, bro, I fucked up. And then it's like, all right, dude, then you move on. Now that doesn't absolve you from the consequences of your mistake, but at least people can respect you more. And I think that's what we're looking for from women. If that makes sense.
I get that, but those are two different things. Be playing the damsel in distress and holding
It is.
yourself
It is.
accountable are
It
two
is. I
totally
went
different
from
things.
one to the
I
other.
can't compare the two, so I can't answer that question. But then again, like you said, a lot of times it takes an older woman, someone who's reached maturity, which is why I keep going back to all women do not are not in a place where they don't take accountability, because when you reach maturity, you have to take accountability. And there are a lot of men who don't take accountability in their younger years also. And it takes maturity
Yeah.
to get to that point.
Yep. Let's see what they got to say in the chat. JG said the next person isn't responsible. That's true. TJ, you grieve the loss. Therapy. Absolutely. Ella says, drop off some of that baggage, drop off some of that baggage before carrying it into the next relationship. Just makes it harder for the next one. Absolutely right. JG, forgiveness is a powerful tool. Doesn't mean you allow that person to have access. Just don't repeat the same mistake. That forgiveness shit, I'm working hard on. Like, I forgive, but I don't forget.
Yeah,
And I don't know. I'm struggling with, is that truly forgiveness? Because I'm still mad about the shit. You know,
right.
Jay had mentioned earlier how he blamed himself. I'm at a point like, nah, I blame you. I blame you for what you did to me and how it was messed up. And I'm still angry about it. Now, I can say I forgive because I know that's the right thing to do. And I know me walking around mad about what somebody did to me is only hurting me because they sleeping fine. They getting a full night's rest and I'm up here pissed off. But for me, that's something harder that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
If
Yeah. Forgiveness is definitely for you. And so you don't take that poison, as they say, and
yeah,
within yourself. And I'm saying this as somebody who has who has a memory like an elephant, and I don't forget anything. So like remembering hurts usually for me can sometimes bring those same emotions back up.
Mhm.
But I have been in places where I've worked on forgiveness, and when I have, it's like a weight was lifted. And I don't know. I can't say, everybody has to or should do the same, but I felt it work. But it can still be a hard thing to do.
It's hard because, like, I think for me, forgiveness comes with closure.
Mhm.
And a lot of times that closure that you're seeking never happens.
Exactly.
Because the person that you want to forgive or that you need to forgive, they may not be in a position to give you that because they probably on that same bullshit that they were on, and they might say it, and it's not a meaningful apology, or it's just like I'm not ready to get over that shit. I'm just
Yeah.
not. I'm not a perfect person, so I'll admit I'll just I don't forgive like that. But I know, and I know it's something I need to work on. Let's see what else it had to say. Vita, real friends have real discussions. Absolutely. Vita said, men that don't have meaningful friendships with other men don't get that. I assume that's me talking about holding people accountable.
Right.
PJ, you need friends who will tell you your shit does stink. Absolutely. JG, he said, men that have meaningful relationships with women tend to. I think that's another piece that people forget that sometimes it's good to have friends of the opposite sex that will keep
Mhm.
it real with you.
Right.
And it took me a while to learn that. And I admit, I used to be that dude that says, I don't have no women friends. I don't got no little sisters. I'm trying to fuck everybody. But then as I matured, I realized that having women in your life that you're not having sex with, that you're not trying to have sex with, they could really be a good friend for you. They'll protect you. They will um, help give you game on life. And it's a great thing to have women in your side as friends. So I think a lot of guys are sleeping on that, especially if you were like me and immature to think you have to stick everything because you definitely don't.
Right.
Jay said, F the apology. We live in an era that lacks accountability. I agree, brother. TJ, forgiveness is a process, Marv. Yeah, and I'm at the beginning stages, baby. I think it is Shay or Sha. Give us the phonetic how we say that. She said forgiveness is overrated to me, and that's what I'm on. I'm on that. Forgiveness is overrated. Vita said, I see forgiveness as building a bridge and moving on. I would never effort you the same. That's right.
Mhm.
All right. And then Jay said, I guess I don't hold shit too painful. Life is too short. And then it's Shy. Shy Bella. Okay. So all right, Shy. Appreciate you chiming in. So yeah, I mean, that hurt in a relationship, that old adage, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I learned a long time ago that that's some nonsense.
Yeah.
Words can definitely be damaging. Lies, um, misdeeds can really hurt somebody for years. And,
Right.
it can really take a toll on people. And, you know, I've always said that the people who get on my nerves the most, the people get on my nerves the most when it comes to men and women, black men and women, and
Who?
in relationships,
Who?
fuck boys. You know
Yeah.
why I dislike fuck boys?
Why?
Because fuck boys move in silence. We don't hear from them. They're not really on social media. You know why? Because they don't want to get caught. You know what I'm saying? They want to just fly under the radar so they can do what they have to do. But I'm very big on root cause analysis.
Mhm.
Fuck boys create these bitter ass women that we see on social media that annoy the shit out of me and everybody else. And we see them all the time in Facebook groups and on social media. They bring their trauma dust and they sprinkle it over everybody. And it's annoying as shit. And I really can't be mad at them because I know that deep down, what caused this for the majority of them was some dude was a fuck boy and fucked them over. And now all of us have to deal with the hell that he caused.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, most of it's a cycle, just like those men who seem like they're women haters. Yeah, that usually comes from some kind of hurt from somewhere.
Yeah,
Everything is a cycle.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But speaking of hurt, Tay,
Hmm.
you ever got hurt during sex? Like physically hurt during sex? I ain't
um,
talking. I'm not talking about an STD. I'm talking about like a physical ailment.
no, the only things I've had
You ain't caught
were
a Charlie horse.
let me finish my what I'm gonna say. I was gonna say the only times I've experienced hurt or injuries in sex was Charlie horses and rug burns.
Vita said impaled. Damn, Vita, you got impaled by the dick?
Oh gosh.
Okay. All right, Vita. She said she got impaled. Definitely that Charlie horse.
Hmm.
That Charlie horse. And you know, normally when that Charlie horse normally hit, that Charlie horse normally hit like when she on top and you trying to like, like fuck from the bottom, and then that hamstring hit, and you like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That Charlie horse, I got a rug burn. I'm gonna say rug burn on my penis one time, and it put me out of commission for about a couple of weeks, Tay.
I want to ask, how did that happen? I mean, is that appropriate for you to?
No, it's cool. So my girl and I, we were very, very active sexually. And she kept it clean down there. But she didn't do wax. She shaved.
Hmm.
And she missed uh a certain area. And like those pube hairs are kind of rough or what have you. And it was like this small little patch that when I was hitting it from the back, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I wasn't wrapping it before I tapped it, right? Um, I was hitting that rough pube patch, and the next thing you know, I was like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? And basically, I got a rug burn, like abrasion on my penis. It was bad because we was on like a vacation.
Hmm.
So it kind of messed things up. I mean, we did other things, right? But I had to adjust because that wasn't the business. I got, that rough pew messed up my penis. That might be TMI, Tay, but that's that was an injury that I sustained.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, all I've had was Charlie horses and rug burns. I could have had a bad one. Me and an ex broke a bed one time,
Uh-huh.
and we rolled, but he caught us, so I didn't fall, but
Ella said she had a lamp fall on her head. Okay. Um, Vita said, I heard that it happened to someone. Okay, Vita, you heard it happened to someone. Shah said, yes, mess with someone who was way too big because I was challenged. Okay. All right. TJ said, ditto, literally in the guts. Damn. Jay said, shaved. That shit hurts. Okay, I'm glad it's not just me. I'm telling you, Tay, them little rough pubes, if you don't get that patch. Cause I was
Mhm.
like, we was in the middle of it, and I was like, hey, hold on, I gotta stop. What's going on? And then she did a little inspection. She was like, oh yeah, I can see why that would happen. So it was tough. Janine said, I had someone tell me to drink my Gatorade before our first time. At one point during our encounter, I was like, I should have drank my Gatorade. Vita said, I'm a punk. And then Jay said, I thought a chick broke my shit once or twice. You know, I saw one time on porn, sometimes like we talk about like spinners.
Mhm.
I know, I think most of us have tried like, okay, woman's on top, and then you try to adjust to reverse cowgirl without taking it out.
Mhm.
That's you got to be very, 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 careful when you do that. And I've seen a guy, the penis can actually be broken.
Yeah.
It can be broken, and I mean, I almost threw up when I heard that and heard the details, but yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Yeah, that
And I've like if you're when you're having rough sex, I don't want to give visuals, but if you jam it in, I've heard of that happening where the penis, got fractured.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Now there's times where if you're trying to have rough sex and you're trying to like rough sex is not my jam. Like I told you, I came up in the '80s. I'm a Isley Brothers. Let's make love between the sheets type dude. I'm lovey dovey, but there's times where you could get vigorous with it. You know what I'm saying, and you kind of like not trying to pull all the way out, but close to out, so you can really like get it up in there, and you might miss and kind of jam it. But like, ah, dog, like you really doing something. Vita said, sex took me to the ER.
That's a television show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what you said. That's a show, not my statement. What kind of TV shows y'all be watching?
Come on, regular TV. I think it was on like TLC or TBS, one of them off-brand stations. I'm gonna say off-brand, but not one of the main like 479, you know.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, you definitely gotta be careful during sex, because things can't happen. That Charlie horse, I think is the main thing that be taking folks out.
Yeah, definitely. I've caught many of those, especially in my younger days, when you in the times when you're constantly working out and then all of a sudden the muscle cramp want to come in at the wrong time. Yeah.
Mm. Shaw said she got cum in her eye while wearing contacts once, and she thought she was
Ooh.
blind. You gotta learn to duck, baby. You gotta learn to duck. You gotta learn to duck. You gotta learn to duck. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Cum in her eye. I don't know, man. I think with a facial, man, guys, we need to be a little bit more careful with that, though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm all for giving the facial. I much rather, did we talk about this last week? I much rather like, blast off on the breast. That way we could just kind of, wipe it off and keep going. But yeah, the facial is damn, come in the eye. It ain't never happened to you. You ain't never messed up a hairdo.
No, because I usually try to direct it down in this area.
Yeah, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Yeah, but definitely be careful, be rapid before you tap it because a STD that's the ultimate getting injured
Yeah.
during sex.
So
And
you be
I
careful
think
out
at this age, we definitely need to, make sure that we're not letting that happen to us. Shah said it wasn't a duck moment, it was purposeful. I just wasn't anticipating that. I don't see how that okay. Right. You went in the eye on purpose. Like, okay. All right. Well, Tay, you got a nasty or normal?
Not a nasty or normal, but would you do this or not?
Okay.
Making a mold of your partner's genitals. I've seen it done on vulvas too, so it can happen.
So I guess the question would be,
Or would you let somebody make a mold of yours?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm proud of mine. It ain't no impaler, but definitely, what I'm saying, if somebody were to make a toy out of my member, they definitely would have a good time. So yeah, I would do that. I would do that.
Okay.
Would you make a mold of, you got a name for her? Are you willing to share the name for her on air, or is that just for your man?
No, we done with that. I've said it. If you need to know, go back and watch other episodes. It's in there somewhere. But
Oh, that's
I
right, butter. That's right, butter.
somebody actually have a good memory right now. um, I've 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 heard of it being done on women, and I don't know, it kind of scares me about putting foreign substances down there because I don't know if it might seep in or I don't know. But years ago, I thought about doing that to one of my exes, getting a mold of his penis done, but I never did it.
You got to get rid of it once you break up with them.
I don't know. It depends on how good the sex was. Because the relationship went sour, not the sex.
Do you think that a guy using a pocket pussy is weird or no?
I'm pro toys. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yo, I bought one from a mutual acquaintance of ours. Uh,
Mhm.
they worked for that one. We had Yarnell on the show.
Right.
When we first started the show, just for that company, and I bought one of those things. Man, I used that joint, and my goodness, listen, hey, the way I finished with that thing, I used
Mhm.
it like a couple more times, and I was like, shit, I got to throw this away. I did. I ain't lying to tell you. I threw it away. I threw it
Okay.
away because I was like, if I get used to this, I don't need no damn woman. Shit, I can sit here like you can jack off, right? And
Mhm.
but you still want to have sex. Hey, the way that thing was doing me, man, I was just like, hey, man, shit. I ain't got to pay for dinner. Like, I ain't got to put up with. I
Gosh.
ain't got to put up with a bullshit combo. You know what I'm saying? I could just Netflix and chill with myself.
I'm pro toys, but I don't I could never get to the point where a toy could replace a human for me. Because toys, I mean, there's just certain things toys can't do. I mean, toys can bring me there quicker, yes, but there's still the touching and the talking and the moaning and the all of that. The toys can't do that.
I got a good imagination, but I agree. I agree. I agree. Now, would you use a pocket toy for a man? Would you interact with him and the pocket pussy? Would you
Yes,
be
I would.
opposed to that?
I would. I wouldn't have any issue with that.
Okay. Yeah, because they got the kind that are like double sided. You know what I'm saying? So your
Mhm.
Johnson can come out from the other side. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Janine said, Bob can't kiss these thighs. Okay, Raheem Devon.
Exactly.
Okay, Raheem Devon. They fun in the chat. So Ella said, right, Tay, or the cement get too hard on the inside. That makes me nervous. I'm sure they
Mm.
use some sort of, biodegradable type. I'm sure they just ain't using whatever.
I would hope so because I've heard. I think it was something I was watching. My mind keeps going back to the show Real Sex that used to come on HBO years ago,
Yeah.
but I don't know. But I want to say it wasn't that. But I remember there was a woman who used to have molds of vaginas, like she had a wall, a wall of them or something. I don't know. So I mean, it happens, but I don't trust it for me.
Gosh. TJ said the rough can't replicate it. Okay. Like that rough sex. You know what I'm saying? Be careful. We don't want you breaking no penises out there, TJ. But anyway, tell where they can find us.
You can find us at Conversates After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, you want some advice, you got a story you want us to read, you can reach us at CVAD the podcast at gmail.com. Make sure you like this video, share it, subscribe, tell your friends about it, and leave us a comment.
Yeah, if you got hurt in sex, let us know so we can talk about it on air. And make sure you go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. We'll watch you next time. Peace.
Bye.